Meet me. Welcome back, guys. So today's going to be kind of a fun little quick equipment video. Some guy asked me on Discord, like, what are your best pieces of gear? Now, if you follow this channel, you know I freaking hate doing hunts, and gear's probably my weakest part of the game, but, you know, I have been playing for a while, so I do have a handful of decent pieces. Looks like I have 27 reforged pieces at the end of the showdown season. So I figured I'd just go through what I reforged. I do have some decent 88 gear, but nothing too crazy. So we're just going to cover my reforged gear today and kind of show why I reforged them. So we'll just go through them one by one for funsies, and let's get started. So not all my reforged pieces are great. A lot of times I reforge because I'm trying to hit a certain stat line for a hero, but for the most part they're pretty good. Like this one, that effectiveness isn't the best. Who has this? Celine has. I don't even use her. But that's a pretty solid crit damage roll. I have 30 crit damage, 9 speed, and 5% crit chance from a sword. The effectiveness, I mean, on like S10A or something, it still has some value, but it's kind of a wasted stat, but still pretty solid. Not my best reforged piece, but pretty good. This one has excellent subs, and it rolled really high on health, which is why I kept it. On something like a Lilius, I would actually think this is really strong. It's kind of weird because it has like 3 offensive stats and then like a huge amount of health. But, you know, for a bruiser, this is still pretty damn good. Remember, if you don't understand like what to reforge in it, I recommend you go watch my equipment guide video, by the way. If you remember that like very simple formula I did with like the squirrel formula thing, this would end up being like 11, 22, 52. This would be like a 63 point piece, so still pretty solid. This one, the rolls aren't that great, but still it adds up to like over 60 by that system. So it's a pretty nice spread, and the subs are actually all very useful. So for like a bruiser or something, pretty damn good. This is pretty bad, actually. This is just not good, but I really had no speed helms. This is my best speed helm, I believe, only 17 speed, and I was just trying to make my acid fast, I think, which is, yeah, it's on acid, which is why I did that. Probably one of my not good reforged pieces. This one, again, it's kind of like this piece here. You know, kind of a weird stat distribution because there's 3 offensive stats and then a huge amount of health. But, you know, when you get that many high rolls into health, like, I look for getting items with high rolls, and I'll distribute the pieces around to get the stats that I want, even if the individual piece is weird. And for something like Alencia, this could be decent, except she doesn't really need attack that much. Is this on Alencia? No, it's on my SSB. So for SSB on Rheingards, it's actually pretty solid because you want her to be a little tanky. This one, I actually like this piece a lot. I know a lot of people don't like crit chance necks because they want crit damage necks. I don't mind them because 60% crit is huge, and a lot of times if you have a crit chance neck, you can pretty much ignore crit chance on all your other pieces. So my Alencia has this neck and pretty much has no crit on any of her other pieces, and she gets to 100% with ease. So not the best highest rolling stats, you know, the subs add up to about like 50 something, but still pretty useful and very good for getting to 100% crit on heroes that have low base crit. This thing, pretty solid. I mean, not the best, but it does have flat defense, a speed, and really high defense rolls, 34% defense, and effectiveness actually does help FCC a little bit. This piece is pretty solid, nothing amazing. This one, you know, if it was speed set, this would be absolute beast, but I reforged this because it got a lot of speed rolls, so 19 speed. I think one might have went into flat defense, unfortunately. If it went into speed, this would have been a monster piece. If only it was freaking speed set, I would say this is excellent, but even on crit set, pretty good. This one was a piece I've had for a long time. I actually bought this one from the secret shop like a month into the game, and this one is just absolute beast. Like 65% health, 27% effect resist, 25% defense, a little bit of speed, 6 speed. I mean, this is just an amazing Soul Weaver or Knight piece. It's on a health set. I love this piece, probably one of my favorites. This one is pretty beast, but the freaking effect resistance that went into it, but still 45 speed, 8 crit damage, 31% attack, 6% crit chance. Pretty solid. This one is probably one of my worst Reforged pieces. I did it just when Reforging Right came out right away because I didn't have any other immunity gear and I wanted to beef up my Judge Kisei a little bit. This one is pretty horrible. You can have a better immunity weapon than this even without Reforging, but it is what it is. Judge Kisei is one of my favorites, so I need to give her some new toys. This one, not too great, but hey, 20 speed, right? Health set. Interestingly enough, most of my best speed gear is never on speed set, but this one's pretty self-explanatory. It's just there for the speed. This one, unfortunately, it's on my ACID. Like, it's weird because it's all on defensive stats, like defense, flat, health, and effect resist. But hey, 20 speed, you know, can't complain. Anytime you break like 18, 19 speed, regardless of set, regardless of the other subs, you keep that bad boy. This one's on my S10A. Unfortunately, that last sub is flat health. But all the other rolls went into crit damage, a 37 crit damage armor. So that's a pretty damn big amount of crit damage for a single piece. So obviously I had to keep that and reforge it. This one's the next one. This one's not even equipped on anyone. This one's kind of weird, not the best reforged piece to be honest, but had a lot of rolls into defense. So I actually value defense a lot, especially on things like SSB and stuff. So if I ever have a hero where I feel like they're really lacking on defense, I could even probably throw this on like LQ or something. This would be a good piece. Right now it's not even equipped on anyone. This one is not a particularly good piece, but it has 22% crit chance on a helm. So it's a nice like get out of jail free card when I'm trying to build a hero. I try to get 100% every time because I always get screwed by that 1 or 2%. And these are the kind of pieces that help. But if you look at the rolls, they're actually pretty damn bad. So not the best reforged piece, but still useful for gearing. This one is also a piece that isn't particularly great. Another example of one I kept because it has high crit chance, 20% crit chance here. So rolled looks like into crit chance 3 times, crit damage once, and it gave me a max speed roll on the new sub. So a solid piece, but this one's not particularly amazing. This one, again, it's not too amazing, but still has a nice distribution, particularly for Alencia. She benefits from all these stats: crit damage, health, defense. She scales on health, and crit damage is obviously very good for her. So, you know, when you add it up, it adds up to more than 60 points. Still pretty solid, but nothing groundbreaking. This one I actually like a lot because it has not the craziest amount of speed, and we don't like these 2 defensive subs here, but still crit damage, a respectable amount of speed, 16 speed, plus 12 crit chance, so lets you gear like an offensive fast character and gives you 3 important stats. So pretty damn solid. I'm a fan of that one. This one is on my A-lots. I mean, it's flat defense. Actually not the worst thing to have as a main on the speed gear. The other subs are actually not bad, but 20 speed, no-brainer. You keep that shit. This one I don't even have equipped on anyone. I think it's pretty damn good. No speed, unfortunately, but for a knight, effectiveness still has value. 65% health, 37% defense, some effect resist, a max effect resist roll, and some flat defense. This one's pretty beast. I'm not using it on anyone yet. I'll have to wait for the free unequipped to figure out how to incorporate this into my Soul Weavers. This one is honestly not that great. It's okay. Has a nice distribution of subs, but they're kind of wonky and they didn't roll particularly high. One of the earliest ones I rolled to make my A-lots faster. This one kind of the same. Good amount of defense on it, but the rolls in general pretty poopy. So, you know, sorry Alencia, but you gotta put up with that for now. This one, again, kind of poopy, flat health, some defense. Looks like I got low rolls into crit damage and crit chance, but again, gotta use what you gotta use. This one is pretty beast. I'm actually pretty damn happy with this one. 8% crit damage, 5% crit chance, almost 40% attack on these things. Unfortunately, I have effect resist on it, but you know, honestly, I have all 3 offensive subs here. Like, what else could I, like, effectiveness might have actually been better on this one, but still pretty damn solid. This one is just not good at all. Flat health roll, but I was desperate to make my Crow slightly better. My Crow sucks and he complains to me every freaking day. So I figured, you know, I'd reforge it even though my gut told me not to. And then we have this thing kind of along the same lines. Pretty good Soul Weaver stats, especially for heroes with low base health where this low flat health actually benefits. But the subs are pretty perfect defensively, right? Effect resist, health percent, defense percent, and flat health. This would have been amazing if it just rolled better. The rolls are not particularly good here. And that's it. That's all my reforged gear. So, you know, I always have a gear problem. I have like so many pieces of gear that I just haven't rolled and stuff. I always have a charm problem. But for those of you guys out there wondering what kind of gear I was rocking, those are my very best pieces outside of just like random 88 gear. The majority of it, you know, honestly rolled pretty bad for me, but none of this stuff is really important. My reforged gear is better than most of those by a long shot. So anyways, I hope that kind of gave you an idea of my gear situation. Obviously, I'm going to continue grinding, continue hunting, and getting more pieces, and maybe I'll do a follow-up video in the future once I get more god tier stuff. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Best of luck to you guys on your own gear grind. You're certainly going to freaking need it. And until next time, peace out, boys.